Stephanie is pointing at Caitlin. She's looking right at her, so she has to be talking about her. And if you look at her mouth, like she says defense, right? And Caitlin Clark, she looked like she's saying, I'm putting my hand up, and they're still calling the foul. That's what it looked like. Stephanie White didn't like that. She pointed at Raven and said, hey, man, you get in here. Dang, right? And you can see Caitlin shaking her head like, nah, this is crazy.
Everything you heard about this, completely wrong. The moment a camera caught Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White in a sideline meltdown on May 30th, the WNBA narrative machine went into immediate overdrive. The entire league, from casual fans to the most entrenched pundits, stopped what they were doing and stared. This wasn't just any heated exchange. This was the league's undeniable superstar, the face of a new era, caught in a moment of visible, raw frustration with her head coach. Most broadcast teams would quietly cut away, pretending they didn't see the tension, but this time, nobody looked away. The footage was explosive, and it felt like the entire WNBA ecosystem held its breath, waiting for the fallout.
The problem is, Joe, this is not isolated. It's every night. She doesn't play defense. And she got some. Why are you trying to draw up a play offensively? Guard your man defensively.
Shannon, you done fell into the narrative, man. You done fell into the narrative. Y'all, please go back and look at the breakdowns. Look at the breakdowns, man. If you're new, check out the breakdowns on the channel. I'm literally showing y'all exactly what's going on with Caitlin Clark when it comes to defense. Is she the best defender? No, I don't think that. I don't think she's the best defender in the world. I don't think any of that. But she's not a slouch.
Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in.
Two people being competitive, two people that really want to win. And, you know, I think a lot of those things happen all the time. And I know there's a camera on me, and that's how it's going to be. But there's a lot of people out there in the media or on TV that they think they know a lot of things, and they're just blatantly wrong about a lot of things. And I ride for Steph. I ride for these girls. Steph has my back more than anybody. So, you know, nobody in that locker room, in our locker room, or Steph or our coaching staff thought twice about it. It's just another example of what everybody, all of you, want to blow up and make something that is just lost and not in reality.
And get this, the narrative machine didn't just pick it up, it devoured it. Every single pundit, every blogger, every hot take artist who has spent the better part of 2 seasons trying desperately to find a reason to question Caitlin Clark's character, her leadership, or her relationship with her coaching staff suddenly had what they thought was undeniable proof. A confrontation, a public benching, a moment of pure, unadulterated frustration from the biggest name in women's basketball. They ran with it, fast and loud, with headlines screaming about locker room drama and the death of team chemistry, and with very little interest in what actually happened. But here's the thing about these meticulously crafted narratives. They have a way of collapsing dramatically when the actual audio gets out.
The relationship between you two. By the way, Caitlin, I'm fully on Stephanie's side. Fully on Stephanie's side, Caitlin, just so you know. I'm always on Stephanie's side. Whatever you did, wrong. You should have been taken out at 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. You should have sat there and be quiet. Always on Stephanie's side. Why do you think we took Raven Johnson in the first round? Because I don't want you here.
Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. So let's start at the absolute beginning, because context is everything here, and the people pushing the loudest, most damning version of this story have made a career out of skipping it entirely. The incident unfolded at the 8:26 mark of the second quarter during Indiana's brutal 180 for loss to the Portland Fire. The Fever were getting absolutely carved apart, already down by a staggering 18 points. Momentum had completely abandoned them. The crowd in Portland was deafening, and on the bench, emotions were not just running high, they were boiling over. This wasn't a calm, controlled environment. This was a team getting pummeled, and everyone, understandably, was feeling the immense pressure.
It's frustration, and unfortunately, it's boiling over and it's being seen. It's one thing to have it behind closed doors, but when it spills over and when the coach has to basically say, hey, you know what, Caitlin, enough is enough. This is too disruptive. In and out, take a seat. What do you think?
I agree.
You knew
But
the
Steph got
line,
mad.
but you
Yeah,
knew
Steph.
you knew the line. When it becomes disruptive, and then when you and that's when even Kelsey Mitchell kind of chimed in and said like, you need to go stand over here and let us just like regain calm in our huddle. When it becomes that disruptive to the entire team, somebody has to step in.
Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in.
And been in Caitlin Clark's corner. But enough is enough now. I'm tired of her behavior. I'm tired of the shoving. I'm tired of the elitist. I'm tired of the entitlement. Enough is enough. Play basketball.
Yeah.
She's not holding up her end. And I love Stephanie White for this. It was a very similar situation where LeBron was trying to draw something when Ty Lue first got the job. And Ty Lue said, I got this.
Right.
I don't know what clip Shannon Sharp is talking about.
During that timeout, the cameras zoomed in on White and Clark, captured in a visually intense exchange. Clark's arms were raised, a clear sign of visible frustration, and her body language screamed dissent. Then, Stephanie White gestured directly toward Raven Johnson, and Clark was subsequently pulled from the game and sent to the bench. From the outside looking in, with no audio, no real context, and absolutely no understanding of what was actually being said, it looked exactly like the kind of explosive, career-defining moments certain corners of the media had been waiting 2 years to weaponize against Caitlin Clark. It was the perfect storm of visual cues for a pre-existing agenda.
Steph has my back more than anybody, so, nobody in our locker room, or Steph, or our coaching staff thought twice about it. It's just another example of what all of you want to blow up and make something that is just lost and not in reality.
Now, how would you describe your relationship with Steph?
It's great. Like, there's nobody, like, when I got hurt at the Connecticut game last year, like, I bawled in Steph's arms. Like, that's somebody I will ride for the rest of my life. Like, those are the moments that people behind, people don't see that. People that just sit on their phones all day, they don't see those moments. They don't see the moments where we come into work. They don't see the moments that really absolutely suck, that people have your back, but they think they know everything. In reality, they don't have a clue.
Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in.
I was challenging a player. It's coaching. It's what it is. I don't often think it becomes an issue if you're watching it in men's sports most of the time. And my relationship with Caitlin is great. Like, I love Caitlin. I ride with her. Like, we have a great relationship. And I think that the narrative of people trying to make it something that it's not is just, taking sensationalism to try to get some clicks and all the other stuff. She wants to be coached. I want her to help me be a better coach. We're both competitive. We're both stubborn. We're more alike than different. Hopefully we continue to bring the best out of each other.
Now hold up. Let's re-examine that exact footage, but this time, strip away all the panic and preconceived notions. Look closely. Clark is not backing down. Her hands are up. She's responding. She's clearly saying something back, yes. But White, she's not screaming at the top of her lungs. She's not pointing a finger aggressively in Clark's face. What you're seeing is a coach coaching intensely, directly, the way any coach would when a game is slipping away and every single second of a timeout has to count. And when White gestures toward Raven Johnson, that's not a punishment. That's not a public statement. That's not a message that Clark has been replaced or that a rookie is now preferred over the face of the franchise. It's simply a substitution decision during a game her team is losing badly. That, my friends, is called coaching. It looks incredibly dramatic when you slow it down, add a suspenseful music bed, and cut away quickly. It looks completely ordinary when you understand what a high-stakes professional basketball timeout actually looks like from the inside.
And we heard from their interviews today that the Indiana Fever, and it's funny where a lot of people are like, you know what, yeah, everything's okay, and the teams, look at the underlying stats, the team are actually doing great net rating wise. Even before the games, you can hear Sophie and Kelsey being like, yeah, we're not good right now. We're not good right now. Even like before those points, they were like, yeah, we're not good. So they were 4-2 up to that point, and still it was you know what, yeah, we're not actually that good. Because we all know if you have eyes, you can look at the games and say,
Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in.
Hey, two things can happen. This can end horribly. This can end with a championship. I still stand by the yank thing with Caitlin when she was going to the free throw line. I still say that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing, right? It looked like Stephanie White is talking about defense here, okay? It looked like she's talking about defense. And Caitlin, she throws her hand up, and I agree that she was literally playing good defense at times. She has her hand up, but she gets the foul called on. It happened.
And that right there is the fundamental problem. A very specific segment of the WNBA media has developed what can only be described as a compulsive, almost pathological habit when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Every minor stumble becomes a catastrophic collapse. Every single loss is immediately framed as a profound crisis of identity for the team. And every single heated on-bench moment like this one becomes ironclad proof of something dark, toxic, and irreparable brewing beneath the surface of the Indiana Fever's locker room. This pattern has been happening all season long, even before the season officially started. And each and every time the actual evidence contradicts the sensational framing. Teammates push back, the locker room chemistry reveals itself to be absolutely fine, and these pundits simply pivot to the next manufactured angle and start the cycle all over again. It's exhausting to watch, and frankly, it has gone far beyond legitimate analysis.
She's loving. Like, she's a goofy person. I think a lot of people don't really know her outside of basketball. Outside of basketball, she's funny. Like, she has so much personality. I think that's what people need to know about her. Like, her personality goes a long way, and she's a great person. And I think that goes, like, she helps me through every little thing. Like, I could ask a question and she has an answer for it. So I think that's, like, just playing with somebody like her, it means a lot to me. But she also has that sense of humor where she makes me laugh, too. And I'm like, Caitlin, where did that come from?
Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. Fans have been asking this question out loud for a while now, and it's a genuinely fair one. Is any athlete in American professional sports currently more scrutinized than Caitlin Clark? Think about what this woman has accomplished just since arriving in the WNBA. She has single-handedly filled arenas that previously saw crowds half their size, driving television ratings to unprecedented records this league had never even come close to. She did all of that while simultaneously performing, adjusting to a new level of play, growing as a player, and carrying the immense weight of every expectation anyone had ever placed on her shoulders. And still, after all of that, there is a relentless segment of the media ecosystem that approaches every single development in her professional life as an opportunity to find the crack, the flaw, the one moment that proves she is not quite what everyone thinks she is. The scrutiny is not balanced, it is not objective. And this sideline incident is the clearest, most undeniable example yet of that biased approach being pushed to an extreme that simply cannot be defended. Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. Now listen to this part, because this is where the entire narrative gets absolutely obliterated. Let's talk about what Caitlin Clark actually said when she was finally given the microphone. If you were expecting the media's carefully constructed story to survive contact with her direct response, you were going to be profoundly disappointed. Speaking at Monday's practice, Clark did not hedge. She did not give a carefully worded, diplomatic non-answer designed to keep the peace while quietly leaving room for interpretation. She was direct, she was emphatic, and she did not leave a single thread for anyone to pull. She described the exchange as simply two competitive individuals who genuinely desire to win. She openly acknowledged the cameras. She acknowledged that the media was, in her exact words, completely mistaken about the true nature of the moment. That, my friends, is not the language of a player who feels undermined by her coach. That is not the public statement of someone quietly seething about her relationship with her head coach. That is a star athlete standing in front of reporters and saying plainly, unequivocally, and without decoration that the story being told about her and her coach is simply not true. Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. And Stephanie White's response carried the exact same energy, reinforcing the absolute truth. She did not apologize for the intensity of the moment. She did not pretend it didn't happen or that emotions weren't running incredibly high. She addressed it exactly the way a coach should, with honesty, without flinching, and with a clear explanation. In that moment, I was pushing a player to excel, she said. That is part of coaching. She then made an observation that deserves far more attention than it ever received. An observation that cuts directly to the core of the issue. The exact same moment involving a man is absorbed as evidence of competitive fire, as proof that everyone in the building cares enough to fight for something. But that exact same moment, involving a woman and involving Caitlin Clark specifically, suddenly becomes a weeks-long conversation about team chemistry, attitude problems, and whether the relationship between player and coach is beyond repair. That double standard is not subtle. It is completely visible to anyone paying even the most basic level of attention, and it's a disgrace. Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. But here's the kicker. The media didn't generate this story in a vacuum. This is where the broader season context becomes absolutely critical. The Fever have been genuinely struggling early in the 2024 season. That Portland loss was a particularly rough one. There had even been reports of a players' meeting called after a difficult start to the season. The kind of internal accountability session that happens on every competitive team at some point and means absolutely nothing by itself, but sounds incredibly alarming when reported without proper context. When you layer that over the sideline footage of Clark and White appearing to argue, and then add in the existing, long-running narrative about Clark's role on the offense and the never-ending, off-the-ball debate that has been running for 2 years, suddenly, a very convenient, very clickable story is being meticulously assembled piece by piece. Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. It practically writes itself, doesn't it? Team is struggling, the star player is visibly frustrated, and the coach and star clash dramatically on the bench. It's the perfect narrative for clicks, for outrage, for fueling the very content machine that profits from manufactured drama. The only problem, and it's a massive one, is that the pieces being assembled tell a story that the participants themselves are actively, unequivocally, refusing to confirm. They are pushing back against it with every fiber of their being because it is simply not accurate. They are telling you the truth, but the storytellers don't want to hear it. Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. Now here is the part of this story that changes everything. The unassailable truth that the loudest voices in the media have been conspicuously, tellingly quiet about since it emerged. The leaked audio. Because when you can actually hear what was being said in that huddle, when you move past the speculative body language reading, the slow motion replays, and the lip-reading speculation, what you find is not a blow-up. What you find is not a fractured relationship. What you find is a coach pushing her player, hard, in the exact same way that coaches have pushed players since the sport was invented. White was challenging Clark on the defensive end, specifically about how she was responding to defensive assignments in real time. It is the kind of intense, honest exchange that happens in every single professional locker room and on every single sideline in every sport. The only difference here is that a camera happened to be pointed at it, and the people watching that camera happened to have an existing narrative they desperately needed to fit it into. The audio does not confirm a fractured relationship. It does not reveal a coach who resents her star player or a star player who has lost faith in her coach. It reveals two competitive people who both want to win, who are both emotionally invested in the result, and who are honest enough with each other to say exactly what they think in the middle of a game that is slipping away. That, my friends, is not a red flag. That is the definition of a functioning professional relationship. Backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in, backslash in. And honestly, it says something deeply troubling about where we are in the conversation around Caitlin Clark that this even needs to be painstakingly explained. The clip circulated everywhere, of course,